What's up everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to go through 10 mistakes through my experience I've learned that every entrepreneur who wants to become successful needs to avoid. Now before we jump into it, if you enjoy this video, for the sake of the YouTube algorithm, please smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. I can see there's a large percentage of you guys who are watching my content that aren't currently subscribed, and I would really appreciate it if you did. Now before we jump into these 10 mistakes that every young entrepreneur should be avoiding, one thing I want to mention is that I've seen other YouTubers make videos like this, but when I look into these YouTubers, very few of them have actually started a business themselves. So I want you guys to know that I didn't pull these mistakes off the internet. Not a single Google search was done. This is purely what I've went through, the mistakes that I've made and the lessons that I've actually learned starting business at 19 all the way till now at 24. For some background, I left uni at 19 and I've been in business full time, and that's all I've been doing for the last 5 years. Business has changed my life. I went from $30,000 in debt, or actually $50,000 in debt when you count my university debt as well. And I managed to pay all that off, thankfully, through growing my own business, which is actually a digital marketing agency. So without further ado, let's get right into it. 10 mistakes every young entrepreneur needs to avoid doing. First mistake which I made when I was younger, and I see a lot of young entrepreneurs make right now, is spend too much time in the planning phase. I'm planning to be an entrepreneur, I'm planning to get into business, I'm just writing up my business plan. That's not going to work, and I'll tell you why. In business, there's a very big difference between practice and theory. If you're gonna try and come up with a theory with what the market wants, you're gonna end up being wrong most of the time. You need to really take your product or your service to market and learn as you're going. There's a beautiful expression which changed my life when I heard it a few years ago, and that was, in order to get good at business, you have to be in business, period. I know it might come a bit counterintuitive to not plan that much to get into business, but trust me, it's just like martial arts, or it's just like fighting. You can sit there and study how to throw a punch, but unless you actually practice and you get in the ring and you start sparring and you start hitting pads yourself, you're not going to become a good fighter. Business works in the exact same way. Now, I don't want to throw you in the deep end and get you to start a business without giving it any thought, so here's some practical tips. Here are the main things you need to figure out: what your product or service actually is, what problem it really solves, who your target audience is, where your target audience would be, is that on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, then how you can put your product or service in front of them. Whether it's a product or whether it's a service, I would suggest soft launching just to see and gauge whether people are actually interested in what I have to sell. There's no point planning for 6 months and launching something the market doesn't actually want. I'd rather launch it, receive feedback, make refinements with real data so that I can actually put together a product or service the market genuinely wants. Mistake number 2 that young entrepreneurs should be avoiding is the fear of losing money. Oh, I don't want to invest and then lose my money. I don't want to put up money for this business and then lose it. I don't want to invest into my marketing and then lose my money and not get a return on ad spend. Listen, let me tell you something. When it comes to business, there is no such thing as losing money within reason, especially when you are young. When you are young, you shouldn't be fearful about losing money, particularly if it's going to teach you something, particularly if it's going to give you an experience. You either win or you learn. Take this losing mentality out of your mind. Even if you invest a little bit of money and you don't see a return, it doesn't mean you lost, because you're going to gain experience, you're going to gain lessons, you're going to gain new ideas, which then will make you money down the line. Mistake number 3 is focusing on the wrong thing. In my opinion, that is money. Money is definitely something that you should be focusing on later down the track after your business has built some momentum. But early on, focusing about money, about making a profit, about being profitable is going to actually do more damage to you than good. Now, I know again, you may go, oh Leo, what kind of advice is that? We need to be thinking about maximizing our profits and making money. That's the whole point of getting into business. I 100% agree with you. But I'm going to teach you lessons that I've actually learned going through this. Whenever I focus too much on money, I forgot about customer experience. I no longer focused on how I can bring more value to the marketplace. I stopped thinking about how I can improve my operations overall. See, these are the problems that you're going to run into if the only thing you're focusing on is money. Remember this, money is a catalyst of success, not the other way around. You need to be focusing on bringing value to the marketplace, making sure customers are happy with your product or service, making sure your product or service is actually incredible and it is perfect. Even if it costs you a little bit more, your profit margins suffer a little bit to bring a better product or service to the marketplace, the market is going to reward you accordingly and you're going to end up making more money. That is just how it works. A quick example of this is in my digital marketing agency. Our focus is naturally to try and make as much profit as possible, which means if we have a client and we have a management fee with them, I want to try and get my staff not to spend too much time on their account. Otherwise, I'm going to end up paying more in wages than what I'm going to get in return for that retainer. Now, here's the thing. A few months ago, I decided, you know what? I want to bring more value to my clients. So I hired a full-time designer to design all the creative for our ad campaigns for our clients. Now that cost me, and I'll tell you why. Because now my expenses had been pushed up and my profit margins had been reduced. But as a direct result of that decision, all of our clients' campaigns began to perform incredibly. And so now we're retaining more clients. And as a result of that, we've built an incredible reputation in the marketplace. So now many businesses want to actually work with us, which at the end of the day is going to help me grow my business to make more money. Mistake number 4, spending more time on your business than you do on yourself. I think 50 Cent said this: I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. You yourself are a business, especially if you are an entrepreneur. You need to be feeding your mind. Learn, constantly learn by watching YouTube videos, studying the greats, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Robert Kiyosaki. Read books, Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Everything you can get your hands on to feed your mind. The more you improve as a person, the more your business is going to become successful. If you get too caught up in your business and if you get to work on yourself, you're not going to get anywhere and you're not going to grow and succeed. Mistake number 5 is getting a business partner too early. This is a huge mistake I see entrepreneurs making. I've seen business partnerships succeed and become absolutely incredible, and I see a lot of business partnerships go to absolute crap because one person wants it more than the other. I'm only going to tell you 2 things about this. Number 1, don't get into a business partnership because you're afraid to fail alone. Don't do that. Don't just do it for the sake of getting someone to share the risk with you. You're making decisions from a place of weakness and fear. It may be better for you to go on this path alone. Number 2, if you are going to bring on a business partner, ask yourself a simple question. Are they going to work as hard as you are? Because if you get to a point where now they're distracted with other things they've got going on in their life, like university, or they got a full-time job, and you're slaving away 12, 15, 16 hours a day, you're going to have resentment for this person. And that's going to end up in a partnership breaking, which could end up costing you a lot in business. Mistake number 6 is trying to do it completely alone. Now, this has nothing to do with getting a business partner. One big mistake I see entrepreneurs doing is trying to be completely by themselves in this space, thinking that no one else can relate to them. You need to start reaching out, you need to start networking, get involved in Facebook groups, catch up with people, jump over a Zoom or a FaceTime. Try to network as best you can. There are people out there with the same types of dreams as you have, and I promise you, you may learn more from the people in your circle than you can from a book. Mistake number 7, and this is a mistake which I made for years, and that is treating your business income as your income. I feel like I'm talking to young Leo right now. Let me just tell you from experience, the best thing you could possibly do is to separate how much money you're making from business to how much money you are personally making. You've got to make the mental shift now and do it as early as you can to treat both your business and yourself as 2 separate entities. Now, mind you, I'm not saying you want to do this forever. Obviously, the profit you're making from your business, that's your money. You can do whatever you want with that. But you want to create a mental separation like the church and state with yourself and your business so that you don't end up taking your business's money that's necessary for your business to continue to grow, money you should be putting in your business to feed it. You want to avoid taking that money and using it for your own personal pleasures and your own personal expenditures, because your business is going to end up starving, and that very thing that's helping you make money will stop doing so. Personally for me, I've got multiple accounts. I've got all my business accounts, and then I have Leo's accounts. My business pays Leo a small wage, and Leo lives off this small wage. Now, every now and then, if Leo feels like buying something for himself and his wage isn't sustaining him enough, then he can pull a little bit out of the business. But for the most part, I'm not going to treat the profit for last month in my business as my money that I can just freely start spending on. Because if I did that, I'd be wearing more than just an off-white t-shirt, trust me. Mistake number 9. Now this one is a big one. Do not expect people around you, people close to you, to support your dreams. When you launch your business or you launch your product, do not expect anyone. Get rid of this expectation. Do not expect anyone to support you. I'm speaking from personal experience. I feel it. I feel how disappointing it can be when the ones that you love around you are the ones that aren't supporting you. Don't expect your friends to buy your product. Don't expect family to buy your product. Build your business to be completely self-sustaining, separate from everyone else supporting you. Just focus on growing your business in a way that will make it successful regardless if anyone supports it. And finally, this wouldn't be an entrepreneur's mistake video if I didn't mention this. The last mistake I have to mention is being impatient. I know what it feels like to not be making money for 10 months. I know what it feels like not to pay yourself a wage for a long time. I know what it feels like to look into your bank account and see that you're $30,000 in debt. I know what it feels like to go out for dinners and say, nah, I'm not hungry, just so you end up spending $5 on a coffee. I know what it feels like to sit there in a room and be frustrated and just want things to turn around, want to be successful, want to make a lot of money, want to solve a lot of problems.
And it gets to a point sometimes where you just like, when is it going to happen? When is this all going to pay off?
I know how badly you want it, but let me tell you, you are going to have to stay patient. Through all the years, this is the one thing which I've walked away with that I want to share with you, which will help you with this whole patience situation. In your mind, you need to be willing to do as follows. Be willing to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes, and you will eventually become successful. Whatever it takes means waking up at any time, sleeping at any time, working as many hours as you need to, sacrificing whatever you need to sacrifice. And for as long as it takes is the whole patience part. I'm gonna do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. And if you do that simultaneously, even when it may not seem like it's gonna happen, it eventually will. 5 years has went past in my business experience, and for the most part of these 5 years, I was broke and barely making any money, yet on the surface, I was running successful businesses. When things finally turned around, they began to turn around in a massive way, and I was able to make a lot of my dreams come true. And now I'm at a point where I literally look at notes and videos which I left for myself years ago, and I go, wow, I am the person that I once wanted to become. And that's gonna happen for you if you just maintain patience. Hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Like I mentioned before, if you found this valuable, you wanna see more content from this channel, one thing you can do, not asking for any money, but just to hit that like button and to subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. If I've missed any mistake from your experience, if there's one thing you wanna mention, drop it down in the comment section below. But that's it from me. I wish you the absolute best of luck in your entrepreneurial journey. I'll see you guys in the next one.